The Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience Waste Management Open. Bets, one and done, full preview, and a recap of last week. But before we get into all of that, I want to remind everyone to smash the like button for the episode. Leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section. And if you do those things and want to be in a draw for 20 DK dollars, what you got to do is tell me your favorite golfer to just bet on every single week. Whether you like to play him on DraftKings, to bet on him. For me, it's Luke List. Everyone knows that about me. Geoff Fienberg, who is it for you? Everyone's got favorites. There's like Richie. Some people love like Warinsky. Keith Mitchell's a popular guy. Neiman.
It's a good question. I don't know. I think could be like sucked into like a Grillo trap, maybe.
Always.
No.
Always into a Grillo trap.
This time of year.
I fell into it last week. Wasn't good.
Don't like last year I was really high on Woodland here, and he really pissed me off at Torrey Pines. And he really pissed me off, and he went on to win in Phoenix. So don't sometimes, don't discriminate too much.
Yeah. Okay, so I got some winners from last week's draw for 20 DK dollars. There's a bunch of ways you can get in. So for all the shows, the golf shows, Dylan Rogers is a winner. Gracie 30, free drop Billy. For the baseball shows, there was two of those last week with Garion and Meany. So if you want to actually get prep for baseball, we're doing it right this year by taking me out of the situation, getting two guys that know what's going on. Lazy Gravy and ND Joyce 13 are winners there. And the Cuss Corner, which dropped on Friday. 3 hours long, Jeff. A lot of you, a lot of me, but more of Tim. Lisa H22 was the winner of that. And the iTunes contest, where if you leave a review, 5 stars on iTunes, in a contest which I'll be running again this week. So if you go to the audio podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, wherever it may be, leave a review for the Pat Mayo Experience, 5 stars, say something nice about the show, and your DraftKings handle. You can be a draw for 20 DK bucks. N4C4 won last week. And I think I estimated it takes around 30 seconds to leave a review, which, if you win, equates out to $2,400 an hour. Now, like, who's not good enough for $2,400 an hour? Just to leave a review. Come on now.
Fair enough.
So you can.
Is that's what they say? It's 30 seconds.
I think when I leave a review for something, it takes me about 30 seconds. Yeah. Okay. So you can do it too. I don't think you've ever reviewed the podcast.
Well, I don't. I feel it would be disingenuous for me to enter.
You don't need to enter the draw. You can still just randomly say, hey, 5 stars. I love the show, especially that G. Feinberg guy.
Fair enough.
And you can spell your name with the G instead of the J, as some people do. Like, Jeff's an idiot, but they'll spell your name wrong, so they're clearly not fans of the show.
Okay.
It happens. I got some other stuff just to go through here. If people want to hit the description, you can jump to wherever we're going. We got a big show packed. It's one of my favorite tournaments of the year. One of the few that I've
it's one of the
ever
best.
been to. It's Super Bowl week, so you can parlay your winnings at this tournament into the Super Bowl if you'd like. But this week, new on the Pat Mayo Experience. I'm still on like semi-paternity leave right now, but I got a full week of shows coming for people. So we got this show. Tomorrow, that would be Tuesday, the GUP is going to be on to break down the DraftKings side of the Waste Management Open. Wednesday, you're back with Cuss to break down the Super Bowl from a betting perspective and all the props that we like. Always one of the better shows of the year. Then Colin, Drew, and Gup. Again, Gup's double dipping this week. Back on Thursday to break down the DraftKings Showdown slate. It's a $10 entry this week and $1 million to the winner. So that's pretty nice. Drewby's like the best at Showdown. I think he's won 3 of them this year. So we'll get his insights. And over the weekend, we're going to have UFC, probably Thursday or Friday, and dropping on the weekend the rankings of the best seasons of my favorite show, The Challenge, are coming in. New season starts next week, so we already have one challenge season preview out. Best seasons of the challenge. Me and Rob McIntyre broke it down. It's gonna be fun, and I recommend that everyone go vote in the Custies. The link is in the description, and check out the Cuss Corner. I think that's pretty much everything, except for some shout outs.
My mom's away and she's calling me and she just wants to like buy me clothes. That's the life of a grown ass Jewish kid.
Does she know your sizes?
Well, she's like, yeah, that's the thing. I don't know.
Did she get you nice stuff? Did she get you?
Yeah,
stuff?
I know she's.
Did she get you
good.
stuff you would actually wear? Because like for Christmas, my grandparents send me clothes, like a sweater, like this is not close to my size.
Yeah, no,
I
trust her. She has really good taste, in my opinion. I guess I could say that she's my mom, but I don't know.
Mama
She's like
dressing,
a designer. No, if you've watched the show long enough, my style is like sideline cool casual. Like NFL sideline apparel is essentially like my wardrobe.
So you're like one step up from Bill Belichick because you have sleeves on your hoodies?
Sure. So like sometimes it clashes and she has to accept that, but she'll never stop. She will never stop. Even when I tell her, like, leave me alone, I still have bags with tags on them from the other stuff you bought me. You don't need to do this. That just turns into me being ungrateful. But I'm just genuinely being like, you don't have to. It's a never-ending cycle. My problems.
Must
Don't
be
worry.
nice.
It's a
Quality problems to have.
It's
Too
not
much
as
clothes.
it is. Oh God, I can't explain it. There's a very small percentage that'll understand it, and the rest you'll think I'm a bitch, but it's fine.
So Fantasy National, although
Oh God, I can't believe we went there.
Fantasy National Simulator had Justin Rose as the winner. Justin Rose won. I went back and looked at I release the stat power rankings every single week, and I went back and looked at it. If I had just trusted the modeling from like longer term, like 50 rounds to 100 rounds, and said I didn't because it was spitting out Justin Rose and Adam Scott. I was like, those guys aren't going to win. That's stupid. Hideki was in there. Didn't play any of them. That's what I should have done. But other people listened to Fantasy National. A lot of big winners this week. Todd won $20,000 in the $5 entry, came in third place.
Todd,
Just Todd.
Okay.
I don't have last names here. All right.
Good for Todd.
So $20K
That was
to
a nice
him.
win.
John Paul won the $1 winner take all for $3,000. That's not bad. $1 entry, win yourself $3,000. Ken came third in the mini max, which is a 50-cent entry, won $400 by coming in third. Easy breezy 23 to come a cold 1,500. And Janice DK, a longtime member of Fantasy National, $5,000 score this week. That's over $30,000 from members this week on DraftKings alone, just that I know of, that people sent me. That's over $75,000 in the last 3 weeks, Jeff.
It's pretty big.
None of us from us.
Right.
I'd like to get a piece of the pie, but
You could put a couple hundred in there for me.
I could put a couple minuses for me, so that'll probably even itself out. I was doing well until Sunday, then kind of shit hit the fan for me. But fantasynational.com, become a member weekly, monthly, yearly. There's winners to be had.
You told me something incredible in that you didn't set Cantley in any of your lineups, and you still couldn't pull anything off.
I made a move.
Because I had Cantley, and I cashed a bunch of places because he was so popular.
Once he turned into like the Uber chalk, that's also one of the great things about Fantasy National, just the ownership percentages. You're like, I don't have enough conviction on Cantley. I don't like him so much more than Cameron Smith. And who was the other guy that was up there in the 9K range? Xander. So I ended up pivoting to Xander and Cameron.
Even Reed was...
I didn't use Reed. Reed was super low owned. I should have used Reed. Or Spieth, for that matter, who ended up on like winning lineups.
Well, he made a lot of like big numbers, and that cost you the same as a bogey. So
yeah.
Right?
So anyway.
Or double.
I didn't end up using Cantlay, pivoted onto those two. I just didn't have Rose. I didn't have Day. I had a lot of Rahm and Rory, which was fine, but it was the Killa Keith screwed me, just like he did a lot of people. Aaron Wise screwed me. Abraham Answer screwed me. All like my periphery guys that I really like just were terrible. So that's where I ended up. Before we get actually, let's get into the recap of this, because I had a few questions for you about, one, Patrick Cantlay. Patrick Cantlay missed his first cut in like 2 years. Did you realize that?
No, but I think that makes sense. But it wasn't like an insane number. It was just like 16 to 16 because he plays so little, right?
But no, it was more than that. It's been a while since he missed the cut. But he only has that one win at like a scrub. I think it was the Shriners.
It was a swing season. He was like 12-1.
Yeah, it was the Shriners. Win's a win.
Yeah, it was the Shriners.
Same one that Bryson won this year, I believe.
Yes.
In the swing season. So Cantlay makes all these cuts. People get kind of crazy when he doesn't. But he never wins. Is he the new Charles Howell?
No, I'm not there.
Like Howell has, 3 wins on tour in his career? Is Cantlay setting up to be that guy that just lingers inside the top 20, never wins?
I don't know. Don't we have a lot of those guys to like single out Cantlay?
I don't know. It just where Charles Howell is just known as, maybe this is more from like a DK thing, but he's like the ultimate cut maker.
Sure.
You want a cash game line, if you plug in Charles Howell, he makes 90% of the cuts every year. And it seems like Cantlay is becoming that guy. Like, it was so rare to see him have a blow-up round, and he still almost battled back and made the cut. He hit the pin on 18.
Let's not think he would have hit that 9-foot putt, though.
That is probably true. I would have even gone to 9 feet, is the thing.
8, whatever.
I mean, it could have went, like, way past. We don't know. But that was one of the things that occurred to me. See Ricky's outfit? The untuck?
I'm sure.
Cust was livid.
I know.
Livid.
Ricky's got a new underwear sponsor, and they're like my favorite underwear. I got a drawer full of them.
Oh, what is it?
It's like called like under pouch. You think I would know what it's called?
You look at it. I just wear these like Pumas that are like skin tight. They're great.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you could like. I'm not like going to show them for the camera, but maybe after we can like take a picture.
You can take a picture of it.
Because I'm wearing my orange ones today.
I have like reddish orange ones on.
Coincidentally, and I hope
are you,
I might wear them on Sunday. Maybe.
Maybe. Do you think like people like were? It seemed like most people didn't care that he was wearing a shirt that was untucked. And then you had people like Cust who were like, they would never let him on the old course.
Who cares?
Dressed like that. Like, is this anything to be outraged about? Because it seems it's almost like your problem with your mom buying you too much clothing, that if you're upset about this, you really need serious things in your life to actually be mad about.
No, I'm not upset. It's just a never-ending cycle I was referring to. The golf attire doesn't bother me. The untucked shirt bothers me way less than like the dude in the Euro Tour that wears a fedora.
Who's that?
Like Mikko Krahonen or something?
Oh, is it Mikko Alonen, the Finnish guy?
No, not Alonen.
It's the other Finnish guy?
Yeah.
Is it better than Damon's bucket hat?
I don't mind that. I don't mind bucket hats,
I would say that the fedora is a sharper look for like something classy like golf than a bucket hat, which you would use to go fishing.
I don't know. Ricky's outfit, the shirt untucked, as long as it's like a respectable untuck.
Was he sponsored by that like Untuck?
Untuck it?
Yeah, like Gretzky's on board now. I had Instagram ad pop up. It's like, we got Wayne Gretzky on the team.
They always advertise on Stern, but I don't know. The jogger yoga pants bother me a little more than the untucked shirt. Because sometimes even when it's like moderately cool, I like to wear the overshirt in like with my golf attire just to keep the untuck. Because then I can wear the collared shirt is untucked, but then I wear like the long sleeve like light windbreaker.
Oh, really?
And it overgoes the untucked, so you can't.
I am only really out golfing to get a good tan, to tell you the truth. So I need that arm tan.
See, not me. You could see me
and I'm never tucked.
You could see me in the hottest days in like the Marty Schottenheimer sun hat, like the Tiger amateur days.
Oh, see, I don't wear sunglasses. I don't wear a hat. Just put on a little bit of sunscreen. Got to get out there. Got to get my color going. Get that vitamin D sucked into me. I mean, look at outdoors right now. It's like minus 20, and we got 3 feet of snow. When the sun is out, I like to be out into the sun. We get so little of it that I kind of need it. Last thing, Spieth, Reed, the hug.
I bet that head to head. I don't normally do those.
I bet Gim in the 3-ball at 4-1.
Not Gim, Chin.
Oh, Chin. Sorry, yeah, sweet Chin.
You're thinking of Doug. Don't mistake Doug Gim.
I should have bet Doug Gim. He would have beat both of them on that day. But I bet sweet Chin music, and I got Shawn Michaeled right at the barbershop.
Well, as I joked on Twitter, like next time Spieth tries to pull that on Reed, he should toss him through the barbershop window. That was, in my opinion, just Spieth having to play into good guy culture, because Spieth didn't want a day of full awkwardness would have been a lot worse for Jordan. And Jordan had the match, even though Reed was up 2 after 9. Jordan got a nice little run. He had an eagle, like a 90-yard hole out, and then he like tripled, like from just off the. No, he's in trouble, and then he like overshot the green. And then when you're in trouble, the thing about Torrey Pines is when you're in trouble off the tee, and you saw all week, it can happen easily, and then you're unable to lay up successfully.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Then you're like hitting, then you're hitting your third in, and you saw a lot of guys hitting their third in from the rough.
Can't get spin, can't get to stop.
They're back in the greenside rough now, going for par, and it's just like, yeah, big trouble. And I guess Jordan, and then he like slammed his bag. He made a triple, which essentially won the head-to-head. But I just thought Patrick Reed was happy to go the whole day without like a gesture. Spieth just didn't want to deal with that.
Do you think that there is
overblown that they're playing us?
The potential that
we're being worked?
Yeah,
no,
a little bit. I think there is. I don't think
not to the extreme.
I don't think it's as bad.
Okay, of course,
as they make it out to be.
Of course,
I'm sure they're like not like friends, but I'm sure they don't hate each other either.
I doubt that either. And as Tim said, there is like a an aspect of decorum maybe for 2 Masters champions. in a way, but I think there's a lot of people at that dinner that probably really don't like each other.
Yeah, you think anyone likes VJ Singh? No.
Oh crap, there was something else. Oh, so Reed, I love that Reed was wearing camo. Because that like means a lot. I have, like, speaking from personal experience, not an outdoorsy type, Pat.
What? That shocks me. I thought you were on the next season of Survivorman.
My one piece of camo is my like salute to service Chargers hoodie.
I can see that.
And I wear that hoodie when I think we're in for like our toughest games. You know when I didn't wear that hoodie?
Patriots?
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably should have.
Because I bought into that whole like, if you rank like the top like 15 players in the game, what team they'd be on thing, and that's a silly thing. So Reed wearing camo really stuck out to me. Jordan Spieth, as much as I think he will never
ever
be part of that, like what we will consider the super elites again. That's just my opinion.
There's only one super elite. His
It's
name is Bryson.
Sure, but it's getting farther and farther away. And it's even like funny to see what you might think if like Dustin doesn't like have the greatest tournaments before the Masters, like what his odds might be when these other guys like, so if like he's going to fall behind in line, then certainly Jordan will pick his place. Not really the Masters because Jordan has great course history there, but I don't. So as much as I'm convinced he'll never get back to where he was, and he took advantage of this like downtime sort of maybe in the game, even though
I think Spieth might win at Pebble.
Even though his score,
like,
okay, hold
not
on.
U.S. Open. But
I'm
like
getting there. I'm getting there. Even though his scores in those tournaments were pretty historical and would hold up almost against any Masters, right? Like the ones he won.
He has the record now.
Okay, so that makes sense. It's like less than a fingernail away though for him being like fine. And that's what comes into like Pebble, because he's making a lot of birdies. And I always speak of like these truly elite level players, not like super elite, but they're tour carded and they're great players.
We saw it with Phil for like 3 years before he won, that he was always like top 10 and like making the birdies wasn't the problem. It was don't make the triples. And that's what Spieth's doing now.
But to me, it's such a small, as long as the good is there, to me, it's like one or two things like clicking, like inches, like the separation of being really normal and winning at Pebble is an inch away, and he's got to like find it. But you're seeing the good. There's just too much bad, and I don't have any doubt that a player with that actual skill level, even though I take my shots when I want to, can get the bad out of the game, at least for a 4-day period, and lift a trophy.
And we're gonna be getting him at some numbers here.
Yeah, that's right. And you saw it. And you saw it. And what I'm most excited about is this weekend ended. Like the next 2 years, Pat, of getting to watch Bryson battle Tiger for like the big ones, like give me that. That is going to be amazing. That's where I'll close on that. I have more. Let's see if
I still want to talk about Torrey Pines. I want to talk about the betting from last week. You know what I did last week? Betting wise? Worst week in a while. Taken. What? Not only did I get taken by going back to the strategy that I said that I wasn't going to do, by instead of hitting that like 20 to 40 range, I ended up taking a bunch of losers at like 60, 100.
But you would have lost in the 20 to 40.
I would have lost, but I could have kept it down. But I could have had someone in the mix in that range. But
Hideki each ways, cash.
Yeah, Hideki, you're big on the each ways now. So I got shut out completely across the board. I needed like a Mullinix decent day on Sunday to get that top 20, which would have helped, but obviously he didn't get there because the guy couldn't make a putt. But then I started chasing. Like I lost my head to head.
So you're like going for like Willett bets to like come like T5.
Yeah,
I saw you were.
It was bad news. And then so I chased it with head to heads and got taken on my head to heads. And then I tried it again and got taken on my head-to-heads. And then on Sunday, I ended up throwing down on Rory 20-1, Day at 200-1, Finau at 125-1, all losers. Everything that I said that I wasn't going to do, I couldn't help myself. And I think I got in trouble because when we spoke last week, I wasn't in the best mindset, I don't think. I was pretty hyperactive. It's the first time I was out of the house. Baby just born. I did the research, but it wasn't normal. And I made all my bets on Monday because I thought if I didn't make them now, I might forget and not get to it. So I just padded my card with everything that popped in my mind without being discriminatory in any sort of way. So this week, I'm going to try to really clamp down and get it a lot better. And whenever Justin,
I might argue it's the opposite because I to me this is better than the Super Bowl.
I like this tournament too. We've had success at this tournament in the past. This is where we found Brooks.
I was past win. Well, are we done with Torrey?
No, I was just gonna say Justin Rose wins. For all the people that said fade him because of the irons, I wrote him up last week as a fade because I'm an idiot and I don't know what I'm doing. But it wasn't because of the irons. It was the ball striking the week before. Like, it was bad. The only reason he ended up coming like T30 at the Desert Classic because the guy gained like 5 strokes putting. Like, he couldn't hit it off the tee. He couldn't hit an iron. And as it turns out, that doesn't matter. But his track record at these U.S. Open style courses now, he has the U.S. Open win at Marion. He has a win here, a win at Congressional. Like, it's
Liberty. Doesn't he have a win at Liberty?
he has a win at Doral. He has a win at Colonial, which...
The only course that wasn't that hard was the like regular
Zurich.
win he won last year.
No, that was at Colonial, wasn't it?
I thought it was like the San Antonio or something.
No, he won at Colonial. Former Dean DeLuca, whatever it was. He has won TPC Louisiana before, though. So
yeah, and he's very not lucky because it is Torrey Pines is in that spot every year, but that location was the best possible place for that tournament for Justin Rose because I assure you, he had because all the big club people are all right there. They're down the road, and he worked those tailor-made kids to the grind, to the bare bones to get him dialed in. So. He went deep inside the labs and he's a meticulous worker. And props for overcoming all those things and an annoying AF social media habit.
You see,
to get to the
did
W.
you see that he was playing without his regular caddy? His caddy had like heart surgery or something.
Fucci.
So he had Stenson's caddy. Do you think he paid him $3,000?
No, he didn't. The caddies are already tweeting good things about Phoenix. I guess Phoenix is taking care of them with their own like lunchrooms.
Yeah, and you get the caddy races. Phoenix is fun, man. I don't see how anyone can. Rory was going to play, but played Torrey Pines instead.
Do you think Mike Miller like turns off Phoenix?
I don't know.
Because he despises that anything associated with
Fun.
like at a normal event. When like things are,
but this isn't a normal event. This
okay,
is,
you're right.
You walk into Phoenix and is expected.
Yeah,
here,
sure.
And if anyone is going, get. There's a little hill in between the 9th or the 6th green and the 7th tee box. That's the spot. You get to see all the approaches and putts on that green, and it's a par 3 going back the other way, and you can see the entire hole. Plus, if you get too boozed in the sun, just lay down on that hill. Just take a quick nap.
When's someone gonna just like get us sweet and invite us?
Well,
16.
Totek and Tambo was saying that what we should do for next year is listen, the fantasy golf game. There's probably like 30 of us in it, or potentially even more. And,
way more.
And listen, you get 30 people together, we can rent one of those 10K skyboxes.
Sure.
For the week, why not?
Yeah, and I'm a loser. I always want to go to this tournament and actually have, connections in the area, which is is why I should be there. But I always am never booking it because I'm a big enough loser to think the Chargers are going to be in the Super Bowl.
But they end this so you can watch the Super Bowl.
Be in the Super Bowl.
Oh, like to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so I would just like have to go. And I don't want to, we're not getting off topic, but the Chargers are egregiously low on the early Super Bowl 40 board.
Well, maybe we can talk about that on the football show this week.
Yeah, like people actually think.
What are they? Give me the odds. 12-1?
Yeah.
It's like I'm setting the lines.
How'd you know?
I haven't seen them.
Who do you think the favorite is? Well, then we'll leave.
Patriots.
For next year, it's the Rams.
Is it the Rams? Then the Saints are second, I guess?
I don't even remember. I just remember, because the Chiefs and Chargers were tied. Like, people think we're equals. Okay, moving on.
You got anything more on Torrey Pines? Anyone impress you from Torrey Pines?
Yeah.
Okay.
Danny Willett.
Okay, I have him on my list, too. I have him.
And people might think I'm a loser, or I've called myself a loser like 12 times in one show, and we're like 10 minutes in. But
that's the golf drinking game.
People think like we could just like too into him. But
top 10 tee to green this week. I
didn't even know this.
I said coming in, like he was one of my plays on DraftKings this week. Like you get him at a harder course, and Danny Willett is the guy that you want. Honda, Valspar, those are the two. He better play them both because he can win one of those.
He got in that great little, like, he's found it again, and he won a nice tournament overseas, which is great. And we were all like giddy, and we both listed him in that, to start our exciteds list. But, how happy I am to see him just be out there. And, like, he tied Xander on Sunday. Xander, like, to some people, is the greatest thing not named Bryson at the moment. So he can go. And so let's, I'm just happy to see it. Because it's actually happening, and I'm with you. Like, this week at Torrey got out of hand because it seemed like the wins were down and the scores seemed traditionally a lot higher than normal. Where a lot of guys we talked about a week ago were DOA because they're not going to get to that, like, 19, 20 under. We were sort of betting that this thing could be like 10, 11, 8, 9. So that's sort of like, Danny's got no chance when it's true. When gets to where it got this week.
And he lost. The only thing he did is he lost a few strokes off the tee, but he doesn't have the distance that a lot of these other guys have. That's why I say Honda, and that's why I say Valspar, because they're shorter courses. And they're ones that minus 10 is probably going to win it for you.
One more thing.
But for people who are like hearing us talk about Willett, unless there are extreme wins at Augusta, I don't think he has a chance at Augusta.
Yeah, of course, because it will be there's too many birdies that can be made there.
Exactly. So if it's like pristine conditions like it was last year, Willett's not going to compete. But if it's like the year that he won and the winning score is -5, he can win that because he can just grind out pars.
Yeah, he can win
That's what he was doing this week, just grinding it out. He gained a bunch of strokes on approach and a bunch of strokes around the green.
And only because he came up, which I might have been planning but not planning, I want to say, was it this show or earlier that was essentially like our tout anniversary of him?
It was last week.
Okay. Because I remember after...
It was after Jason Deffner won Career Builder.
Okay. So I'm a week late with that.
No, maybe it was the week after because Willett won the tournament that was this weekend, the Dubai.
And I feel like we really talked about it on this show. And then he even was still like 150 to 1. I remember the day after Denver trounced Carolina. I put if you won money at the Super Bowl last night.
Yeah, bet 150. And then it went down to 125.
Because he almost won at Doral.
Yeah, that was well after. That was like 6 weeks later.
But I mean, that was his first start across the pond, and we were worried it was going to
then
it
cut
burn.
his odds.
And he almost the whole baby thing. Oh, sorry. We got to move on. I can't move on though without talking about Tim and the Rahm tout. So he touts Rahm after the first round. And what it was like, cough, cough, look at me, right? What was that essentially what it was?
Yeah, he was looking for credit. That's all Tim wants is for someone to say, Tim, nice pick.
Okay.
And if he hadn't said anything, Rahm came in 5th. We would have said, hey, Tim, nice pick. He came in 5th.
Why didn't I tweet out on Thursday night, hey, look at me, Gary Woodland, T71, 1 under, cough, cough. I mean, he essentially, finished 3 spots behind Rahm?
Yeah.
I don't know if Tim was trolling.
He's not trolling. It's been a while since, the way that Tim works is he gets 5 things right a year. But it's been a while since he's got anything right. And he's already screwed a Super Bowl up. He picked the Rams to win the Super Bowl before the year. And now he's picking the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. And now whenever one of them wins, he's going to be like, look at me, I picked the winner. And then everyone's going to be like, you're an idiot.
His Rahm tweet on Thursday night is essentially like there's a basketball game being played. And for somehow, some way, there could be 30 teams playing the game. And the team you have is up 1 point. In a basketball. I mean, that's essentially what a 1-stroke lead is, right? After Thursday.
And he played the North Course.
What a sham.
What
a sham.
And Rahm cost Tim in his one and done $180K by missing that 3-foot putt on 18. Because he would have come T3 instead of T5.
Also, after his tweet when he was getting heat for it, I invited him into our head-to-head game, and he still hasn't responded to it. And I'm certain had Rahm won and collected the 1.1 million, Tim would have instantly let us know that he's in.
He's still winning at the moment.
Sure. That's fine.
And he still has a week to get into this if he wants with a lead. Because I'm in dead last by a bunch.
Oh, no.
What?
He mentioned to me who he was going to pick.
Well, tell us now, because I don't know who he's going to pick.
It wasn't for sure. But he thought he had mentioned that his early lean was
the guy that we're both on.
Yeah, both being on.
Fun times. So like, I guess
I've actually already bet it though.
I bet it too. I bet it right before we went on because you said that Coley had him in his article too. I was like, well, I better bet him now before I lose even more points.
Yeah, it's okay. Maybe Tim will pivot
Yeah,
because he takes bad players. Well, no, he took Rom last week, but
it was the first time he used a good player.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be on like Ben Ann this week. That would be my
that's
guess.
the profile, sure.
Yeah. I love Ben Ann, but we'll
Opened at 80-1, and I was tweeting about it, and he dropped almost in half.
Few more things. Do you know who has gone T15, T26, T12 in his past 3 starts?
How good of a player are we talking about?
He's an old man, and he's in all these majors, and he's like 600
Ernie
to 1.
Els?
Ernie Els. Ernie's having like a bit of a renaissance.
I saw an interview
overseas.
with Ernie just before this run started, and I laughed literally audible to him making a comment that he's essentially trying to be a playing captain in the President's Cup. And maybe that team is bad enough, so we'll have 2 playing captains, Tiger and Ernie.
Ernie's got over the yips. He can putt again. That's good news for him. And listen, there's nowhere to like really bet Ernie Els. If you were going to do it, the Open Championship would be the one because old guys can compete at the Open Championship. And he's won there before. Not this course, but he's won the British Open. It's interesting, nonetheless, if he's actually playing well. Like, the back problems seem to be behind him. The putting is returned. The guy still crushes it off the tee. He just came 12th in that tournament. You hit Bryson, by the way. Congratulations. Shout out to Baroff, too. Big week for Baroff. Hit Campos on the web.com tour at 100 to 1. Then he won a Rose Bryson double for like 111 to 1. Baroff's like the richest man on earth now.
Pays for all his
he's
no, good. That's awesome.
I always like to joke with him that he's almost even on all the Ollie bets he's made over the years.
I was very high on Bryson last week for obvious reasons, and I honestly might not expect it to stop because if he's
6 to 1 in Saudi Arabia.
See, that's the thing.
Week?
He was 10 to 1 last week, and now he's 6 to 1 in an event that Rose, Dustin, and Brooks are in. So his line got cut in half, and 3 of the top 5 players in the world, including the world number 1, have entered it. That being said, I don't know. You would want to bet on anyone else?
I mean, Matt Wallace is like 18 to 1 in that field.
Pepperell. He's pretty good.
I was looking at Pepperell.
Pepperell, though, people are bailing on because he can't drink. It's in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, so he can't get boozed up and play the round hungover and go out and just make birdies?
Yeah, he's like even joking that he might not be in like a great place this week. A lot of the players who I don't think deserve it, if you wanted to give any heat for them being in Saudi Arabia, give it to the tour, not the players, in my opinion. Like the tour is responsible for that, not the guys that are taking cash grabs.
You mean that fact that like Dustin Johnson's probably getting paid like $6 million to go play 4 rounds of golf?
He was, and I don't know what I mean. If you follow them on Instagram, Brooks and Dustin were just I don't think together, but they've both been like vacationing. I know Dustin in the Maldives. They're here to take the show money. Bryson's here to win.
Yeah, Bryson's here to win. They're there to kick back and cash some checks. It's nice. I wish I could do that. I would, by the way.
I would chase all of it. Bryson's really, to say he's onto something is an understatement. Let's just put it that way.
I thought Rory looked good.
Amazing.
Yeah, I wouldn't say amazing.
No, but if he putts, everyone's dead.
Yeah.
Dead. Like if Rose was 20, like when I was watching on deep into the back nine, I feel like they mentioned he was like 22nd or 25th in putting for the week. And he still won by, I guess, what was 2 strokes. Never, other than a couple blips, it never felt that close though, Pat. Rory putt, like he burned holes for 4 days. He should be like 24 under or something. Having never seen that place. Betting him to win the Masters or?
I'm thinking about it. Waiting for that number.
Oh, Bryson winning right now, that corollary, everyone's really, as you should be with your 80 to 1 Bryson ticket.
Yeah, I didn't get the 80 to 1 Bryson ticket like an idiot. Now
I'm
it's like 18 to 1.
Yeah, I am so stupid and stubborn. There's another drink if you're playing the game.
Well, I mean, I missed it at 80, then it was like 55. I was like, nah.
See, my issue was, and I've told before, is I've been so adamant on one of our preview shows that he would win the 2020 Masters. It was like the hill I was going to die on. Before the summer of Bryson last year started and his trajectory exploded, I was convinced a few more laps around that place, one more year of spring practices there with Tiger, one more calculation compass run, and he's going to dominate the 2020 Masters. And even as he was winning, I'm like, no, I said 2020, not 2019. So I'm literally letting these numbers drop in front of my eyes because I'm a stubborn loser. Again, have a drink.
You ready to get into the odds?
I'm fired up for this week, and it ain't the Super Bowl, I tell you.
Waste Management Open, TPC Scottsdale. Before we get into the course itself, do you know what this is, sir?
What do you mean, do I know what this is,
Yeah,
sir?
because you say the Super Bowl. What network is the Super Bowl airing on?
Oh, it's Get Out of Town. It is CBS.
It's on
yeah.
CBS. So NBC has the rights to the Waste Management Open this year. That's the trade-off whenever CBS has the Super Bowl, which means this is Johnny Miller's last event. 2-time winner of the Waste Management Open in Phoenix, 4-time winner in Arizona. I don't know how I feel about this. I hate Johnny, but I'm used to it.
Yeah.
I mean, if Johnny Miller isn't in the booth, how will I know that every shot is really easy and that he would definitely make it?
Someone was so annoying on this weekend's coverage. It's like they brought in like a ringer team because their on-course correspondents haven't come yet.
Oh, they're still like on early
And
season
who was
vacation?
it? Not Immo. Immelman's great. It was one of like the radio guys. They gave him a TV mic. He annoyed the hell out of me. As for Johnny, I agree. What's it gonna be like without him? Have they announced who's replacing him?
I don't think they may have. I don't know who it is.
I mean, like one of those golf, like Duval or something.
Maybe it'll be you.
No. I'd love an NBC Sports gig. You know?
I'm telling you, they should just turn over the online stuff to us. It'd be me and you just doing color commentary the entire time, talking about our bets and how much money we're losing. But we'll show all the shots. That's the trade-off of having to listen to us. We'll show you all the shots. There is a way to do it. I'm convinced of it. So the course itself, TPC Scottsdale, plenty familiar. The stadium course, number 16, has 10,000 people around it in the amphitheater. 7,266 yards, par 71. Got to score on the par 5s here. And then there's that drivable number 17, which I feel like is the make or break hole of the tournament. I really do. It's super easy to birdie. You can make an eagle on it, but there's that water on the left-hand side. And you know who's a big fan of that water on Sunday when he's in contention?
Ben
Ricky Fowler.
Do you want
He is a magnet.
Do you want to start there?
No, I mean,
okay,
I'm
yeah, you've got
telling
it. I'm not interrupting.
But you did.
You asked a question.
You didn't even answer it.
I answered it wrong. What'd I say, Ben Ann?
Yeah. So stats to look at. Ball striking is really the key here. If there is ever a tournament to back someone who is an awful putter, look at the past few winners here. Gary Woodland, Hideki Matsuyama.
And even when Matsuyama won one of those, it was the first time, at least that I recall, that the resurgence of Webb Simpson putting happened. They went to a playoff.
That was the year I was there.
And Webb had a bunch of chances.
That was the Ben
to
An
win.
year. Ben An
Yeah.
ended up coming 7th. Louis was
So
like
you mentioned
third.
it earlier. I was on a great run here because I had Brooks and then Hideki, and then I always
There
blew
was
the
one.
money
There was
on the
one
Super
year where
Bowl.
you had Fowler and Hideki, and I think that they were like the final
Yeah.
two guys.
And we had that big Brooks win, which paid a lot. You could win money on Brooks and then lose 80% of it on the Super Bowl and still have a lot of money because that's when Brooks paid money.
But that's why I'm not sweating last week so much. Although I dumped a bunch of money, I'm still up because basically
Yeah,
I have Matt
whatever.
Kuchar monies to play with.
Yeah, whatever.
Top of the board. Let's talk about it. The favorites at this tournament: Rahm is 7-1. Justin Thomas is 9-1. Hideki opened at 18, is now down to 12. Xander 14, Woodland 18, Webb and Ricky Fowler 20-1. Big Ricky, Tony Finau 22-1. Then you got Cooch, Cam Smith, Phil Mickelson, all at 28-1. Those are your favorites for the tournament. All of my statistical modeling likes one man and one man alone. Short term, long term, it doesn't matter. Short term really likes Gary Woodland and Tony Finau, but Justin Thomas is like breaking the bank here. But he's 2-4 in cuts made, lifetime at this tournament. Remember he birdied the first 6 holes in round 3 last year, and then he like came in like 7 over or something crazy. There's something about this tournament. Maybe it's the atmosphere. Do you think that gets to people? It's just so out of the ordinary that some people really embrace it. and others just kind of get caught up in
maybe
it?
in the past, but now it's so like part of it, as you said before.
Like the year that I was there were fist fights next to tee boxes because people were so boozed up and like yelling during swings. Like that's happening. You don't really see it on TV, but that is happening.
Yeah, it is. Oh man, you've seen the images of like what's going on by the porta potties. People are just like dead. And
you really need to watch out. You don't want to be watching the hole with like someone who's really wayward off the tee, because there's just like a bunch of like semicircles of like 3 to 7 people standing behind like a group of cacti just smoking joints the entire time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So you gotta watch out for flying balls and hitting these people in the desert.
Last year, like Chesson Hadley had a crazy incident with the rulings, and I think it was like by a joint circle. I it's amazing that John Rahm is going to play 4 January events and not win, or maybe not win, but this number is kind of unbettable.
He did get down to 6. He's back up to 7. I thought Thomas would open deeper than this, but obviously I was wrong.
I thought Spieth and Brooks were here.
No,
Spieth tried to be cool once, and he realized I'm not cool enough to play here, right? Didn't he play here once?
I don't think Brooks has played since he won.
I find that hard to believe outside of the injury. I feel like he'd normally been here, but okay.
So I guess the big thing is Hideki is 12-1. Coming off the good week at Torrey Pines, obviously he's won this tournament twice. WD'd after round 1 last year, and that was the beginning of all of his problems a year ago. The wrist injury. It looks like he's fully back. What do? You gonna back Hideki at 12-1?
What is it? 1 second, second, fourth, or
yeah, 1, 1, 2, 4. I think is the track record before the WD.
Not really.
You're not buying.
I mean,
you just won more money on the each way with Hideki last week than this number is paying, which is kind of funny.
The year he won here, he was like 18-1.
Yeah, and Ricky was 22.
So I don't know. I mean, like, it's kind of low.
It's kind of low. And
Thomas might be the guy. If I had to pick actually someone to bet outright from this group, it'd probably be Thomas.
I'm leaning exactly the same way. I don't know if I'm going to touch the very top of the board, though, because you got Xander, you got Woodland. They're in the teens. I don't love that. And before we came on air, what we talked about, I'm not usually one to bring this up, and I brought it up to you. The big Ricky, little Ricky combo, 20-22-1.
Let's do it.
I'm already in on Finau. I've already bet him.
I bet Finau too. I haven't bet.
Is that who Tim was going to curse?
Yeah, that's who Tim's going to curse.
Don't know if I can do that. But Ricky coming off a bad week. Finau was okay. He's still missing putts because he's Tony Finau. That's what he does. This is a happy place for Ricky. Eventually, he's going to win here, right?
I needed to double check what happened last year because it was so... It rattled me to my core.
Ricky was leading after 3 rounds, wasn't he?
Not only was he leading, Pat, do you know what he did on Ricky Saturday on 16, 17, and 18?
Double, single?
Birdie, birdie, birdie. On Saturday, where he normally does what you would have guessed. To go into the lead. I literally walked into my Super Bowl party, which starts very early, counting my Ricky money. I'm certain I was. Ricky not only conquered Ricky Saturdays, he finishes with what do they call that in
the turkey?
The turkey? Like, what could go wrong? He imploded on Sunday. A little over-exaggerated the final score because those same holes I mentioned, he birdie Saturday. Once he was like out of it, he actually bogeyed 16, 17, 18 Saturday. And he mentioned like 17 is like one of the easiest holes on tour. I mean, yes, you can find trouble, but he was spinning by the time the round ended last year as Chez, who's Arizona Diamondback sponsored, on his hat.
I believe it was the first year because Chez is a local guy. He lives in Scottsdale. This is his home course. So people always backed him because of that. That was the first time last year. He plays the tournament every year. He actually did something. I think it was the first time he ever shot 3 rounds in the 60s at this course.
Well, last year was kind of like the first time in general he actually
Hey, he's won the Canadian Open before, like 2008. I think that's his only win on tour.
I had forgotten about that. So yeah, Ricky just was nowhere to be seen by the end. I think he finished like T8 or T10. I think by the time it was over.
I've already put down on Finau, and if I do Ricky, but then you have like the Phil and Cam Smith. They're both right there. Cam Smith played really well at Torrey. I worry that this course is too easy. I feel like he's kind of a Willett in that sense. I want the course to be a bit more challenging, and he's really good at long courses. Like, Torrey Pine South is a very long course. He played really well there. Remember when he popped at Chambers Bay? Like, Augusta's not a short course. He played well there. It's interesting. I don't know what to make of him. 28-1 seems a bit short.
Also, to me, sure, certainly he can win. It does seem short. I don't want to throw the stone here because I threw 2 stones this year at a number that felt short, and Woodland and Hadwin almost won. So I'm done with that, even though a lot of people were in my mentions feeling that he didn't belong with this other part of the card. More so, I'll go the other way on Cam Smith. I don't want to play him because, to me, his biggest asset is scrambling. You got scramble here, you're done.
Yeah.
If you're not lining up for birdie, you're done. You're done. So that's sort of how I would look at it. So that, I guess, points to your hard course narrative. Phil, I'd make the case there's value there with how he's playing, and it seems like where he might be mentally. I just want no part of it. I'll also be honest, after you couldn't, I have zero interest in anyone after Ricky before you get to 60.
How about a guy who has top 10s at this course the past 2 years and has won 2 of his past 3 events? His name's Matt Kuchar.
Sure. I don't want to go there.
I don't know if I want to do it either. We've seen him go. We hit him at 60. We hit him at 40. Do we want to try to hit him at 28? Just keep riding the Cooch train.
I mean,
He'll be the world's #1 soon enough.
He could hit every fairway. He could putt from 14 feet all week. It's as much as the course sets up for bombers because there is so little trouble. Unless you get a bad break, you get under a cactus, or you find the few holes with water.
There's only 3 water traps on the entire course.
It's really hard. You have to get unlucky. I mean, sure, balls will go into the desert and then just get lucky, right? Get a clean swing, and you should be able to get a green in reg from almost most places off the tee here. So while it is an advantage for bombers and guys that can put it out there, if you're just in the fairway, every hole here, I don't want to say every hole, but a majority of holes do become attackable. So I'm not like anti-Kuchar because he doesn't hit it far off the tee. I'd rather bite the bullet into that 20-1 guy. And are we ignoring Webb? Or I don't care to talk about him. He's gonna be that guy that was like Woodland and
Webb is interesting because he has played well here in the past, and we're back on Bermuda. And anytime there's a few guys, anytime that you get them on Bermuda greens, that these are a bit different than the Florida Bermuda because I think they're overseeded with POA and something else. But the guy just absolutely demolishes Bermuda greens, and his past 5 starts: 6th at the BMW, 4th at the Tour Championship, 15th at Shriners, 3rd at RSM, 8th at Tournament of Champions. You could make a very compelling case that Webb is undervalued in this field if Ricky is the same number because Webb is playing so much better. That's why I haven't pulled the trigger on Ricky yet because I was saving it. Maybe Webb's the guy.
But also for me, Woodland's also still in the thinking point. Even though I don't know if he'll be able to go back to back, but he's a lot of people like myself use him as the one and done last week. He might be a great one and done this week because even though he won here last year, he actually always plays well here.
Yeah, he does have a fantastic track record here. So right now, just Finau for me. You played doubles with each of the top 3 guys with Bryson?
Yes. So we'll go full disclosure. Hit that beautiful 10-1 on Bryson, which feels like I don't know. He's just going to win. It's ridiculous. As I mentioned, he's 6-1 this week. But I am so confident in Bryson. Not super confident. I'm not laying a DJ in Canada type price, but I've taken $100 and divided it 3 ways: 40 to Rahm, 30 to the others on doubles with him, with
Thomas and Hideki.
Thomas and Hideki. It ends first. I think 2 of those top 3 will be Sunday equity. Yeah, and I'm giving Rahm. I can't go balls on Rahm like last week because 6-1. When you add Rose, Brooks, DJ. There's still other great players there like Fleetwood and Wallace and Serge and Reed. Feels like a bit of a suckers thing, but it's worth
the double.
It's worth that shot to me because Bryson, like we've seen it, like he can go on a run, and he didn't even play well till Sunday, Pat.
Yeah, and he was on the range working.
Yeah, he's just working it. Okay, obviously I'm like mentally banking on the perception that like, oh, Dustin and Brooks were just like, you know, fucking and drinking and like enjoying whatever they were doing. I don't think they were vacationing together, but they seem to have spent a nice piece of their Saudi appearance money on living like 12-star lifestyles in this like little break since Hawaii. So they're just going to collect the appearance money. Those courses are so easy though sometimes for these guys, right?
I've never seen I don't this is the first year this tournament's existed, so I have no idea what this course is. I believe it's coastal. So
there's a lot of guys
if there's a lot of wind, maybe you take just one of the rando Euros who's getting wind.
And guys we'll be talking about who are here this week, like Hatton, like Ann, who played last week. I don't know, maybe the desert correlation won't be as bad. I think if you like them, I wouldn't worry about that.
So of the favorite guys, just as solo bets, we're both in on Finau. Have you laid anything on anyone else? Because I'll update my cheat sheet. It comes out on Wednesday. That's where I'll finalize the card. But Finau's the only one of those guys that I'm in on right now. And I missed the 25 number. I was looking at it, didn't pull the trigger. All of a sudden, he's 22.
Never even saw that.
That was the opening. But you're in on Finau as well?
Let's go. Big Rick. This is such a chill spot for him. I think played with Tiger, did great. This is going to be like a walk in the park. Although he'll probably be in a premier pairing.
Does not have a great track record at this course.
I don't care.
Okay. Next level. We got Adam Hadwin is the next guy on the list. He is 35-1. Then it is Bubba Watson, Billy Horschel at 40, Shez Reavie at 45, Putnam champ on at 50, Noren at 60, Berger at 60. Let's see here. Snedeker, Griot, Hatton at 66, List, Keegan, Zach Johnson at 70, Answer, Palmer, Kazire at 75. Then you got like your Ims, JB Holmes, Austin Cook, Scott Piercy, Russell Knox. See, woo, Kim at number 90-1. Who in that range interests you? Because you got me to put in a bet earlier today that I had to tell you on because I couldn't have that winning bet in my account and not actually get any money out of it. But it didn't really occur to me. He has a great track record here, but you like Daniel Berger.
I bet Berger. Berger and Finau are the two bets I had in before we started recording. 12th at the Desert Classic, which, you know, it's the Desert Classic. I don't want to overrate it. I'm not going to like throw it away. I'm not going to build it up into something. Missed the cut at Torrey, but he's healthy. He's playing in a third straight week. Clearly means he's healthy. We know his skill level. His strokes gain off the tee have been quite strong. His putting has not. I think this is a nice spot. I think it's a good number for what we know. If he's healthy, give me 6-1 on Daniel Berger. Well, who finished? What, he finished 10th here last year or something?
I believe so. I believe he was 11th. He was 8th or 11th, one of the two. But hey, I'm hoping for the entire sake that Daniel Berger wins because, like I said, I'm not going to win as much as you do on it. But just for peace of mind, I had to throw a little bit.
But I don't know. Like, do you think I'm off? Like, am I?
No,
like,
I think it's perfectly reasonable. The guy that I look to in this range, I was looking at the 40s, the two guys. Remember when Bubba used to kill this course every year? 40-1. Any interest there? The guy that I will bet though is Billy Horschel, 40-1. I like that number for Billy. Coming off a T8 at Torrey Pines.
A nice week at Torrey.
This is a course.
Isn't this course too easy for Billy?
No, this is perfect for Billy. It's not as long. Like Billy gets in trouble when the course is too long because then the driving becomes a bit of an issue. But even over the past 24 rounds, he's still 20th in this field off the tees, 3rd in ball striking, 4th tee to green. And he can make, you see it with Billy. If Billy can get the putter hot, Billy be making birdies.
Okay. I'm happy you brought up Bubba.
He's made the cut here 3 straight years. No like exceptional finishes, but it's so rare to see him play this well early in the season. Like Billy's a guy that you back like from July on till the end of the season, but he's come storming out of the gates here. So I mean, I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I'm very interested. But I want to have the Bubba discussion.
That's a great point you brought up. I actually, not gonna lie, want to say my eyes kind of just looked through him through like the first few times I've looked at this board. But this was like he'd never won here. And we talk about Bubba and Bubba tracks and how he like, whether it's the Masters or the Travelers, he's gone to a lot of the same places and won multiple times. This is a quintessential Bubba track. And when Bubba was like peak Bubba before his resurgence, we'd always want to bet him here. And we were always like, I cannot believe Bubba Watson has never won this tournament. It was like, what? How's he never won here? And something that goes to you wanting to bet him at Riviera last year. And I'll be perfectly honest. 2 years ago, when Bubba and Phil were complete disasters, do you know how you knew they were disasters? Because they came here and they like hit rock bottom.
Yeah, Bubba missed the cut for the first time ever at this course.
And it was like, oh my God, what's going on? And yeah, they're like the ball jokes and everything, but he was like, looked sickly. And obviously he had alluded to, I don't think we still know what
he was dealing with mental health problems, anxiety problems.
Sure. He looked sickly. He played sickly. And it was almost like that should have been a sign that we should have been like, I almost regret not making enough money picking on Bubba in like head-to-heads 2 years ago when you could see the bottom had dropped out. Last year, though, Pat, who did we see have really great weeks here for where they were before it was Bubba and Phil. And they both went on to win within the month after that. That they both came back to places after, because Phil also the year before was like horrible here, I want to say, when he was in his run. Or maybe Phil's never been horrible here. He just made a lot of bogeys. But last year, it was a great first sign, and they both had great years that we saw them sort of turn into form. And you didn't want to make too much of it at the time because they're like courses that they both historically played good at. So like you didn't want to overrate it. But looking back on it, both of their great 2018s, in my opinion, started right here. Bubba 41 actually needs to be, you're the Bubba Whisperer.
I'm doing it. Putting him on the card.
This was like
Bubba.
this was on the list of Bubba happy places, even though he had never won here. And it's like, Bubba, you never want to bet at a place that isn't a happy place.
So he was 40th last year. He would miss the cut the year before.
I say 40th, but I'm telling you, we saw things that like we hadn't seen for a year before his 40th last year.
He was excellent ball striking last year. He was terrible around the greens, lost almost 4 strokes. Not that Bubba is fantastic around the greens, but that's atypical of Bubba. Like he's not losing that many strokes from time to time. But the years before that, 14th, 2nd, 5th, 15th.
He was Hideki in Phoenix before Hideki.
Yeah.
Except Hideki actually has wins, but in terms of that price, like that's what we would come here to Phoenix.
If he's in a good mood and he can shape those shots.
What's he been doing this year?
He played Tournament of Champions and lost 11 strokes putting. That's impressive. Then he missed the cut at Sony, but like, let's be real. Was Bubba going to win at Sony? No. Not a Bubba track. This is a Bubba track. Par 5s mean everything. Short par 4s, and can you score on some of those? He just tread water on some of those longer par 5s. I think Bubba can.
I think
if Bubba's in the right state of mind, I think 40 to 1's worth the gamble.
I'm mad at myself.
Like, put it this way. Bubba Watson at this course, with the history that we know, the skill set that he has, I know he's looked bad this year. He's at 40. Like, I love Cam Smith, but he's 28. Like, which bet would you rather make? Let's throw odds out. I told you that one of those two guys wins
in Phoenix
this weekend, it's Bubba, right?
90 out of 100, I would take Bubba because as mentioned, Cam's greatest strength is scrambling. If you got to scramble here, you're getting par and you're already in trouble.
Not to say this course is super easy because it's not. Guys can go low here, but there is trouble.
It's more like bad break trouble though.
It's not because it's 3 putts are tough here. No, the cut line every year is like between like +1 and even.
Okay, fine. I have a silly perception that it's easier than
the year that Brooks won. I believe he made the cut by a stroke. And then he went like 64, 63 on the weekend to win. But like you need to be making eagles at this course. That's why it always lends itself to bombers. And you can have your Chezes, who's played well. Webb Simpson got into that playoff. We've seen that stuff, but it's Hideki, Woodland, like those type of guys. Brooks, Bubba over the years.
Well, Phil had to put when
Phil used to be a bomber.
Yeah. I'm mad at myself that this didn't register. Like when I was taking in the board when it not only first came out, but now.
So that's the next edition. Finau, Bubba. Can't wait to lose all my money this week. So you like Berger from that range. The next guy I want to talk about is Hatton. Hatton 66. It feels like we bet him to win the U.S. Open, I think it was.
I bet him to win both.
Okay, I bet
it's a links course. Well,
I bet him to win the U.S. Open. I don't know if he can win here because I think that he almost falls into that Cam Smith type of thing where is he going to win a tournament at 20, like -20? Although he did really well in Mexico that year. It just feels way too low for a guy that's a class player, top 30 player in the world, 6 wins in the past year and a half to be 66 to 1. Like it's a bet on his talent that he should be, like Adam Hadwin's 35 to 1. Adam Hadwin is not nearly the player that Tyrrell Hatton is. And you're getting double the odds. So it feels like a value play I'm in.
I'm always already looking at Hatton, and you talking about him. I mean, that's like asking me if I want gravy on my potatoes. I'm such a sucker for that guy. I'm going to drop down a bit because I think it's time to have a fair conversation.
Luke List, he's going to win. Boom.
I'm a truther, not to your extent. I think people can get back. I don't know if I'm there.
Answer or in?
No.
Which one?
Well, Im's farther at 80, and we can talk about him. I like him. I think he can pop
all
here.
right, let me use my telepathy here.
But we're going to go a bit shorter.
One sec. Bit shorter. So in between Bubba and who did I say? Answer. That's a bit too deep.
In between.
I feel like you are enjoying yourself. The most Andercursed player of 2019.
I want to talk about
Sir
him.
Cameron Chan.
I think it's worth to be talking about because this isn't Torrey Pines. Unless you're going to, and maybe again, I'm overrating. You've let me know with facts that it's not as easy of a course that I perceive it to be. But if he doesn't end up under a cactus, his game suits everything that the past winners here are. This is a PGA layout that I would argue isn't as penal. Is that like there's no rough? It's like sand.
Yeah.
And there's like 3 feet of rough that isn't deep. And then it just goes into the desert and you hope you're not in a footprint.
You hope you're not Spencer Levine underneath a cactus?
Yeah, you hope you're not under a cactus or in like a footprint.
Okay.
Because it's all playable, not...
Can I get some numbers for you?
He's been horrible, right?
Here's the difference. So there's nothing really different between what Champ was doing in the swing season when he went 25th, 1st, 28th, 10th, 6th. That was the swing season. It was amazing. He's still gaining strokes off the tee, but from Safeway through the RSM, 6.4 strokes, 5.7 strokes, 7.6 strokes off the tee. Now he's gaining 2, 1.5. If he's not Dustin Johnson at a peak Dustin Johnson level off the tee, the guy has gained strokes on his approaches once in his career. And he was putting the lights out. And now he's not. And so now he's missing cuts. And he can't chip.
And you have to putt well. Not great putters have won here, but you have to putt well here to win because half this field's going to have birdie looks all week. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you're bringing up good.
I don't love it. I want to get him deeper.
Okay. Deeper. I'm just laughing because he's like 40 to 1 to win the Masters.
I don't think he is anymore.
Oh, okay.
The curse really hit him hard. He won. Tim said he was the greatest player on earth. I believe he picked him to win the Masters. Now the guy can't make a putt.
No, he didn't win. Tim watched him chase Matt Kuchar the week you won on Kuchar and decided this guy is amazing. Bombing away at his resort course.
Let's get him back at a resort course. There's not many in the near future. Maybe he can get into WGC Mexico.
You have brought it up. We've kind of, unless you really stare at it, it's hard to grasp what sort of run of tournaments we pretty much have from now to the Masters.
This is kind of like one of the weakest fields that we're going to see in 2 months.
And this is like a favorite. Outside of what, the Valspar?
Valspar gets fucked in all of this.
Everything is it's like this in the Honda, like the worst tournaments.
Yeah.
It's a great run.
Will it at Honda.
2 WGCs.
Will it Tiger. Honda.
List too.
Of course, Luke List every week till he wins. So I'm in on Luke List, by the way. Did you want to Snedeker? Are you going to back on at 50? I assume you missed this. I missed the 66.
There was an 80 when Will Hill first posted, and I tweeted about it instead of actually thinking about betting it, and then it quickly went to 66. Now it's 50. He had a great weekend.
I don't think I've lost more money on any one player than Ben on. Ever. Like, people might think that I lose money on Luke List, but he comes top 5 enough that I play these each ways that he actually does kind of pay off. Same as Si Woo. But, Ben An just comes 8th consistently and blows it. Anytime he's in contention, he blows it. Memorial, blows it. I watched him live blow it here.
It's too easy for Grillo here, right?
I don't know what to make of Grillo, man. I just don't know. I think I would rather back Answer again. People are like, I'll never play Abraham Answer again. He missed a 3-foot putt on 18 to miss the cut. Like, come on.
I'm not a fan of any never movements.
Well, a lot of people got bit in the ass last week. I mean,
With Adam Scott.
with Adam Scott, like, I'll never play Adam Scott again. He sucks because he didn't look good
Yeah.
in his first tournament of the year.
Someone brought into my vortex how they won a Siwoo Kim versus Keegan Bradley head-to-head on Sunday.
What did Keegan shoot? I thought Keegan was like 300.
Keegan double bogeyed
18?
18 and Siwoo made a birdie.
Wow. Brendan Grace is a late add to this field. He doesn't have odds yet.
Too easy, right?
I don't know. Just he's not playing well. That would be more of my concern.
The course is also too easy. Okay, so I got stars beside a couple guys we got to talk through. Im is under, he's in like poor man's Ann, or is that just me being racial?
He might just be the good man's Ann.
Yeah, because I mean, and because they have two-letter last names.
Do you know how old Sung Jae Im is?
No, but his game plays. How old?
20.
I think, yeah, okay. He's going to be,
We're gonna hear from Sung Jae. I think that
he's the real deal.
here's the crazy thing though. Like he played
People
really,
bet him last week at Torrey at 80-1. You can't not bet him this week if you did last week, in my opinion.
It's a better bet this week than it was last week. Lost strokes putting in around the green last week, gained off the tee, gained through approaches, which is what you want to see because it can flip back the other way. And like you mentioned, if you're having to scramble that much anyway, you're toast.
Yeah.
But I just, he's another guy like Honda, Heritage.
So it's too easy?
It's not that it's too easy. It's just, it can't be too easy for everyone. Like Brendan Grace can come out and win this tournament at 2,500. I don't want to say that, but if I'm cutting my guys down, like out of that range of dudes, like you have Im, Palmer, Answer, Keegan, I actually do think is live here. Zach Johnson is someone who's played really well at this event. Emiliano Grillo is right there. Like if you have to pick and choose between those guys, or maybe you want none of them. I took List and I took Hatton. Do I want to add another? I don't know if I do.
Okay. Are you ready to... Oh, one more under 100. And we get this narrative a lot here, just like we will in like Orlando or at Honda local guys.
Is it his home course?
No, but it's the area, and I think he always loves desert tracks. You got anything for Marty Laird?
Party Marty. This is where Party Marty gets his name from, because Marty likes to party at the party event, and he's like never missed a cut here. Back-to-back top 10s. No, I don't have any interest. DraftKings, maybe. Maybe like a top 20 bet on Party Marty. Good week last week, too. At Torrey.
Okay, now we're going to hit 100, unless you got other people.
No, let's talk.
Like if you want to talk Austin Cook or something.
I don't.
Martin Keimer's here.
Yeah,
What?
Yeah, the other Party Marty. The original Party Marty. It was, for reference, it was Keimer, On, and Hatton who all played last week in the Middle East. So above 100 to 1. I've already bet Neiman at 125 to 1, fresh off his 80 in the final round at 25.
Okay, there's a lot of bogeys with the kid, but you hope he can...
It's a play on his talent.
Yeah.
The talent is clearly there. He's going to blow up. Now they're giving... He was 40 to 1
I'm with you. It's
4 weeks
almost
ago.
like an auto.
Yeah. So he's 125. I played that with the each way. I played Trey Mullenix.
Of course you did.
250. He had a really good week last week.
That number's down because as I mentioned before we went on, that Ben touted Finau and Phil. He's also touting the 250 that you were already
with Mullenix?
on. Yeah, so that's going to be like 150 by the time.
On him last
we
week,
record
on him
it.
this week with the each way. So he's 250. The other one is I'm thinking about jumping back on Mr. Killer Keith Mitchell.
Of course.
Bear Off brought it to my attention. Why am I backing Keith Mitchell on a week where it's not Bermuda greens? That's the only surface he can putt on. So he's what, 175?
Yeah.
So those are just bombs to have some fun with.
Was Kiernish in Europe?
No, Kiernish played last week at Torrey. He did not play well.
Okay, don't get mad at me.
Oh, good. We're going to talk about Ollie. Are
No,
we? Perfect.
even though didn't he-
he came third last year. Yeah, he's probably going to win this year. He's great though. Thanks.
No.
You know what? There's 3 water traps. He's the new fucking Ryan Palmer.
I'm not.
Oh, there's water to be found. I'm in it. Let's go for a dive.
I'm not talking about Ollie, but you're still going to get mad at me. Do you want to guess who else that is?
Let me look. What's that, Paul? Hunter Mahan.
No, Pat wouldn't get mad at me.
Hunter
for
Mahan's been
Hunter.
bumped from the field, pal. Do you know why?
Why?
The Gooch took his spot. Now he's the first alternate.
Gooch 100 to 1. That do anything?
Nah, not really. You think he's gonna play well 3 weeks in a row?
I won't be there.
One sec. I want to guess what piece of garbage you're gonna bet here.
I'll say it's between 100 and 150. I don't want you to have to really
100
look.
and 150. Are you going with Kokrak?
No.
Collie?
No.
Varner?
No.
Bill Haas?
No, go lower.
Oh, you're going to Hostler, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. You bet Hostler every week. That's fine. Just bet Hostler every week. Just do
Not
it.
every. I didn't bet him last week.
Why are you betting him here?
Didn't he? What did he do here last year?
I believe he was top 25.
I thought he was really good here last year. But that might have been all. I might have been mistaken
I
with Ollie.
really feel like you think Bo Hostler does a lot better than he does. I think he had like 2 top 10s last year. He was, waste management. He was 17th last year. How do you do it? 6 strokes putting, 3 strokes around the green. Again, if it's a tournament where you have to gain strokes around the green, Hostler's your man. If you're gaining 3 strokes around the green here, you're not making enough birdies. Uline? Every week. I shouldn't be this judgy. Because I bet Luke List every week, and I bet Neiman every week.
No, I like Neiman and Luke List. I'm just sort of talking about guys on the back end. Sam Burns.
Sam Burns is more intriguing to me. We're back on.
There's a star on beside his name.
We're back on Bermuda. He's and like the difference is like Hostler's 100 to 1, Burns 175 to 1. I don't know if I'll bet the outright, but I can see a top 10 wager in my future with Sam Burns. I like Sam Burns. I think that he's someone who's going to be very good. And he has the length, man. The guy scores on par 5s and
Burns. Ryder or Burns?
Burns. If Burns can make a few fucking putts, it'd be nice. What about Damon? Good week last week.
Great week.
Now this seems like sort of a
and he might have gone to the bucket hat mid tournament too.
He was feeling himself a little bit. Went to the bucket
I
hat.
think people were like disappointed he wasn't wearing it. And he sort of sucked up to people.
So in the top 10 of my past 24 rounds and the modeling that I use this week, it goes Woodland, Finau, Horschel, Justin Thomas, Hideki, On, Gooch, Cam Smith, Scott Piercy, Anders Albertson. Where the hell is he on here?
He's a birdie maker.
Do you see him? Albertson. What are his odds? If he's something stupid, I'll bet him. But he's always like 90 to 1.
I don't see it.
Oh, 225. So I think he's in play for like a top 20 for me. But if we just sort by par 5 scoring short term, Gooch is popping, Watney's popping, Damon's popping. Damon's good, man.
Yeah, he had a great little run last year too.
Bill Haas was the first round leader here last year. Kiradesh? Is Kiradesh at 150 too low for where his talent rests? Doesn't this seem like the atmosphere Kiradesh would be into? Like if I'm gonna bet Hatton, if I'm gonna take a plunge on Hatton, I'm just gonna make the case for Kiradesh here. If I'm gonna take the plunge on Hatton because he's 66 to 1 in a field where he should realistically be 28 to 1 based on talent level alone. Kiradesh is a top 50 player in the world. I believe he's still top 50. He's can make birdies in bunches. He's really good on par 5s. He's a class player when he shows up. And we know how much he enjoys to party. So maybe he'll just fit right in here. And you're getting him at 150 to 1. Like, no shade being thrown at my main man, HV3 or Aaron Badley, or Chris Kirk for that matter. Who's
you're on to something.
150 to 1 for a guy that I don't want to say he's a class player, but he's in between class player and the rest of these PGA Tour guys. He's good.
He's wrong. You're absolutely right. He's not priced.
He should be correctly. 75 to 1, shouldn't he?
He'll be like 60 to 1 at the Honda.
Maybe. Or Bay Hill is where he plays.
Sorry. Yeah, I'll double look that. I gotta tell you, I think I got to bet big and little.
You're going Ricky and Finau?
I've already bet big, but I don't know if I'll be able to not bet little.
Let's talk about this.
I don't want to be done yet.
Oh, okay. Who else we talked? We talked about Keith Mitchell.
There's one guy.
Check. We talked about Anders Albertson, Trey Mullins.
The bottom left-hand corner of your page.
He was written up in my column this week.
He got a reality show. Oklahoma State Golf got a reality show because of this young man. Most people watching this probably have some level of familiarity with him. But Matthew Wolff.
I will pull the trigger right now before this gets bet down, because it will. People will bet him this week. I wrote him up in my column. I'm sure other people will talk to him. I think he's a better top 20 bet than an outright bet. But can you please read to me what the odds on Mr. Matthew Wolff, who's won 3 consecutive NCAA tournaments, is?
750 to 1?
700. Actually, he's down to 500 to 1 since we started this show.
Do you want to know something? He's 300 on Will Hill.
Really? So he's 500 on 365, and he was 750 an hour ago. So I'm looking forward to his top 20 odds. I just put $5 on him with the each way. So total of a $10 bet at 500 to 1. If he gets the top 5, I'm dancing. John Rahm came top 5 here as an amateur 3 years ago.
I don't think he was 500 to 1.
I don't know what he was. It was the first Rahm appearance we ever had, though. And the books are always going to be down on amateurs. So Matthew Wolff, I'm in. And you want to talk about this guy's a real funky swing. I have a link to it in my column up on DK Playbook right now. But he has the distance to compete here.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Top 20 bet might be the move with Wolff.
What do you think that would be?
It'll be Scumbag 500 to 1. Mullenix last week I bet 14 to 1 top 20, and he was 350 to 1, 18 to 1, 20 to 1 for a top 20. Around that. If he gets juice, they might knock it down a bit more.
Doesn't feel enough, but I do agree that they've had success here historically.
The Wolf. Also, my son's name, Wolf. Maybe that's the correlate.
The Wolf.
We will win some of the Wolf monies this week. Be nice if he won at 500 to 1. That'd be fantastic for my bank account. And my child Wolf. Wolf paying off Wolf.
I guess if I bet Norman Xiong at 500 to 1, in his first event, maybe I should bet Mitchell Wolf. I don't know.
Matthew Wolf.
No, I watched that show, that Oklahoma State reality show. If you've never seen him swing it, it's something else.
It's crazy. He gets he's kind of Bubba-esque. The free-flowingness off the tee.
Oh, Bubba. Yeah, I forgot about Bubba.
So let's get to our picks.
Oh, this card, man.
So the picks I will finalize on my betting cheat sheet on my Facebook page, facebook.com/thepme. You can find the hyperlink inside all of my columns. And when you check on Wednesday in the description, they'll be updated to have the picks cheat sheet in there. I'll have my first round leaders up. I stupidly played first round leaders last week, and it's never fun when Rahm wins because I'm not on that. I'm on Seth Reeves at 250 to 1. But I'm going.
He was 18 to 1 for first round leader, too.
Yeah. Big Ricky is my first bet. That would be Tony Finau, 22 to 1. Bubba Watson is my second bet, 40 to 1. Terrell Hatton, 66. Luke List, 70. Those are going to be my 4 guys. I might add another, like you mentioned, Ricky Fowler or Webb Simpson. I might jump up to there. I might add a Billy Horschel potentially, or maybe someone else in that 70 to range. But those are the 4 that I'm in on right now. Neiman, Mitchell. I'll throw Kiridesh, Mullenix, and I just threw $5 on Wolf. Those are not big bets. Those are bombs to have some fun with. Get the each way on them, but I think that they're the Kiridesh one is super live. Would it be fun to see Kiridesh win?
That'd be great. I love the guy. He made my list for players I'm looking forward to, and he's playing Phoenix, so good for him.
So the big 4, like I mentioned, Finau, Bubba, Hatton, and List would be my 4 from 100 to 1 and below. And with those odds, it does open up room to add more guys to that list. You gonna do it?
Yeah, I'll be on Big. I'll be on Little. I'll be on Burger. I'll be on Bubba. So that's 4. I'm really intrigued by Hatton, I tell ya. List on an each way. We'll see about it. Hostler, Neiman, Kiridesh. And I already copied your Mullenix before we went on here.
Mullenix is fun.
Is he?
He probably come dead last.
Has Tim done anything?
I'm checking right now to see if Tim has. No, he has not stated his one and done. So
Call him, Paul.
Our one and done selections of the week. You, sir, won last week. It is your choice. Go ahead. You can always find Tim's pick on the cheat sheet on Wednesday as well, where our picks are listed. I don't think you're taking who I'm picking, so I can just say my pick.
Go for it.
Bubba.
That's good. I'm going to take Finau.
That's probably a better pick.
And risk doubling up with Tim. But I'm already in. I already bet enough amount of money on Finau to win. That would hurt me way more than, I guess, Tim. I'm in. I don't know what I'm saying.
All right. That'll do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Get into the PME Open Listeners League. Up to 2,000 entries this week, Jeff. 2,000.
So we're going up 500 a week.
No, we're doubling every week. 250 to 500 to 1,000 to 2,000. First prize is like 5K this week, I think. It's 5K, 3K, 1K. The top 25% of the field get paid because there's no rake in this tournament. So everyone who cashes gets at least double their money. That was a big sticking point for me, that when I created this contest and work with them on it, that's the one thing I like, the flatter payout. It's still, listen, if you win a lot. No one's going to really scoff at a $15 entry that you win 5K on. But if you put in that $15 just to keep your bankroll moving every week, if you do cash, you're going to get double your money. So that's always important to me.
The one and done, Pat. 11 people have picked 2 of the 3 winners since we started, and I truly feel like and I'm not even doing poorly, but I feel like I'm already just playing to place.
I remember 4 years ago, whenever Esser ran it, the year that Willett won the Masters.
Okay, it was small.
Hold on. A guy hit 4 of the first 5 winners that year.
I remember that.
And I think he finished outside of the top 5.
What the person who wins that pool will have done so much better than they thought they could ever do.
Oh, of course.
Like
you're gonna not only are you gonna need to have like 10 winners.
This isn't the day
you
of
only
Esser.
Get one pick.
This isn't the day of like Essers with like 320 people where you could just be okay and do fine. Like people that do really well will even blow themselves away at how well like they're doing. Like I compare it almost in like a smaller spectrum to what it would take now in the super contest, that it's become so much bigger that your 64% ATS won't get you anything anymore, even when it was just with the greatest cappers in the world. Now that the doors of like the floodgates kind of open to it, to like have any chance of winning huge money, you probably got to flirt with like 70%, which is like, how do you go into it being like, how do I do it? Obviously some people will. I'm not ready to like, obviously I'm not like giving up, but it's going to take a beyond human effort.
I don't enter these things thinking I'm going to win. I
Fair.
enter them because they're fun.
Yeah. And like we know that with Esser, we knew him. We become friends with these guys, and we're happy.
It was it was $50 to enter.
Yeah.
So it's $50 for 40 tournaments of golf. You're not going to get much more bang for your buck than that, unless you go leave an iTunes or Stitcher review for 30 seconds, and you could potentially make $2,400 an hour by winning that $20 DK prize.
But it's not like there's a weekly prize where.
Yeah, but do you pay attention to it every week and you sweat it every single week?
I make sure I set it. And it's early enough where I'm forgetting it. I was happy
So for 40 weeks, you're going to think about it. You're paying what, $1.15 a week?
Yeah, Woodland put it to 2 feet on 18 yesterday. I'm like, oh, that's going to get me a one and done T10. So yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm always thinking about it.
Good bang for your buck. Just like fantasynational.com, past 3 weeks, over $75,000 have been won by members. And last week was the first time like there was real prize pools. That was just on DraftKings. So members doing pretty well. Become a member today at fantasynational.com, weekly, monthly, yearly. I recommend the yearly. I am a yearly member. And so are you, fantasynational.com. So is Paul Shag. So are a lot of the people watching out there. Just a lot of winners from last week. Get into the listeners competition. And if you don't get in this time around, well, you just tweet at DraftKings and you tell them to make it bigger. I want to get 10,000 for the Masters. I don't think we can sustain 10,000. I'm still curious to see if 2,000 can fill. Although 1,000 filled in like 2 hours last week.
I worry. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like we might hit a point where like making it bigger is just.
Yeah, it's no longer doing anything.
It's no longer.
2,000 might be the number. We'll see. Unless people, if it does fill up right away, we'll go up to 3,000 next week for sure.
People also, I think, like have way too many issues to complain.
What do you mean?
Like whether the rake is like
there's no rake. There's zero rake. For this
I mean, like whether the entry fee is. Some people think it's too big. Some people think it's too small.
Go fuck themselves.
It's a listener league.
$15 is fine.
I would argue $15 for a listener league. Like you shouldn't even think about going any higher. In my opinion.
That I didn't want to make it 20 because the 20 is like Millionaire Maker prices, and when we get around to Millionaire Maker, I would play the Millionaire Maker over playing my contest. But I really like 3 maxes. I think it really does even the field for people who they want to try out 3 different lineups, and $45 isn't breaking the bank for most people. But it sucks when there are like even with the Millionaire Maker where it's 150 max. If you're throwing in 1 entry,
Oh, you're dead fish.
you're kind of dead. You need to get super lucky. Not to say that you don't need to get lucky to win this with 2,000 people in it, but one person doesn't have a significant advantage over another. Like 1 lineup versus 3 lineups isn't the end of the world. And I really wanted to make it that way with the flat payout structure that people could do well enough. Like if you consistently place well, you'll win some money, but you'll have enough money to re-enter every single week. And if you suck, you suck, and you're going to have to reload anyway. Probably was going to happen regardless of the contest that you played. But that'll do it. Pat Mayo Experience. Check out my work on DK Playbook. Follow Geoff on Twitter at GFienberg17. And if you want to get into a draw for 20 DK dollars, guess what? There are 2 ways to do that. Like the episode, leave your DraftKings handle. Tell me who your guy is on the PGA Tour. For Geoff, it's like, who the hell did you say?
I don't know. That's a bad answer. I said Grillo. I got too many wastes. I'm a sucker for too many guys.
All right, Luke List is my guy on tour. So you leave your DraftKings handle. Tell me who your guy is. You're gonna draw for 20 DK bucks. Leave a review, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever it may be. Or if you listen to the audio podcast, leave a 5-star review on there. Something nice about the show and your DK handle. You're gonna draw for 20 DK dollars. And to be perfectly honest with you, that is the easiest one to win. Only like 10 people do it a week. It's the highest odds you're going to get to win the 20 DK bucks. Plus, if you subscribe to the audio podcast, that is where the Listeners League link appears first. And you might want to get to it before it's too late. Just saying. I'm Pat Mayo. Enjoy Phoenix. Enjoy the Super Bowl. And let's win some monies. Aight? I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!